So, Town of Batavia Fire Department, I've been a long time member here, and we've got a great fire department here, and thank you to all our members that make it such. Along with that, though, we can't do it by ourselves. And I'm going to introduce some people that are part of our team, even though they might wear a different uniform or a different job function. So I'm going to start with our town board. We have Patty Michalak, Sharon White, and Dan Underhill. And not that I want to see a fight, but I'll put our town board against anybody else's town board. The working relationship that we have is second to none. And from the bottom of my heart, I say thank you. From our emergency management department, we have Gary Patnode, Tyler Lang, and if anybody else is here, I don't have you on the list. From Alabama Fire Department, we have Ryan Thompson. From the Bergen Fire Department, we have Kevin Burton. From Bethany, we have Johnson Koyak. And Byron, we have Byron Bob Merzak. From East Pembroke, Don Newton. Alba, we have Nick Eston. Oakfield, Sean Downing. Pavilion, Shane Freeman. From South Byron, I know I'm going to murder this name, Vito. I'm not even going to try. Murdo. Sorry about that. From Stafford, we have Brian Bremus. Our neighbors to the next county north, Barry Fire Department, Jerry Bentley. And to the south, from Attica, we have Stephen Boyd. From Video News, we have Alicia. From our state assemblyman is Steve Hawley. Thank you, Steve. Steve has been an outstanding supporter of the volunteer fire service, along with his dad was also. For Mercy EMS, we have Donna Cox. And to the person I probably insulted earlier, Deacon Henry Mozicki. At this time, I'd like to call up Gary Patnode for the installation of officers.
All right, so I'm sure everybody in here knows who I am. So I've worked for the Emergency Management Office for 11 years, and this is the first time I've had the honor to install officers because Tim's always at the dinners. So I couldn't be more proud to install a group of professionals with the town of Batavia. So as I call your name, please come up and just form a line. Chief Chris Strathearn, Deputy Chief Bob Hunt, First Assistant Chief Josh Boyle, Second Assistant Chief Clayton Gorski, Captain Brian Bentley, Lieutenant Tyler Stewart, Safety Officer Paul Dibble, and now for the corporate officers, President Thomas Cunningham, Vice President Thomas Marlow, Secretary Steve Coburn, Treasurer Don Koziol, Director William Allen, Director Gary Diegelman, Director James Ward, Director Michael Buck, and Director Paul Barrett. All right. All right, so please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name, do solemnly swear. To uphold the Constitution of the United States.
To uphold the Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the State of New York.
The the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the bylaws of this fire department,
and the bylaws of this fire department.
and that I will faithfully discharge
I will faithfully discharge
the duties of my office to which I have been elected
the duties of my office to which I have been elected
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
All right, as installing officer, I now declare the officers of the Town of Batavia Fire Department duly installed for the year 2025. Congratulations.
Howard, I have to apologize, I didn't see you sneak in. Howard Owens from the Batavian. So I would be remiss if I didn't mention that it was just a year ago, a few hours after our banquet, that we lost a good friend to the fire service, to an act of violence that is just unspeakable. Good friend of mine, father to one of our members. I'd like to ask for a moment of silence for Sergeant Tom Safratello. Thank you. Also, I know we lost a longtime member, Franklin Lund, recently passed away. Is anybody else aware of any other members that we lost over the past year? Okay. At this time, I'd like to call up Chief Chris Strathearn for 2004 year in review.
Hi, I'd like to thank you all for coming, and thank you, Frank, for being the MC, because that is not something I want to do. So for the year-end report, do the calls first. So for 2024, we ended with 500 calls even, 41 fires, 101 MVA, EMS assists and such, 31 hazardous conditions, 31 calls and standbys, 30 good intent calls, and 233 automatic alarms. In addition to this, the department total for training hours was 5,801 hours. This includes Monday night trainings and meetings, committees, parades, and this was up from last year from 2023 of 3,675 hours. So a round of applause to you guys, because you did it. That's what I got.
Just
Stay up here.
Yeah.
And Thomas can come up. Tom. And I'm going to stay up and do the presentation of awards, and Tom's going to come up too. So, covering calls, we always do the 100 club, so the guys and girls who made at least 100 calls, and we're going to start off reading from the bottom. Tom Marlow had 102, Bob Hunt had 115, Josh Boyle with 121, Dwayne Fonda with 122, Paul Dibble with 141, Clayton Gorski with 143, Caiden Crist with 176, Brian Bentley with 184, Taylor Rivengurgh with 229, Aaron Cassick with 308, and Jim Bouton with 311. For the top three, we have, let me get those out. Yeah, should go right in line. I'll have Jim and Aaron and Taylor come up. Pictures and such. Thank you, guys. Next is Firefighter of the Year. I've had the opportunity to choose the department's Firefighter of the Year in collaboration with the rest of the officers for the last several years, and it's never an easy task. This year was no exception. We are fortunate to have a long list of members that could receive this, and we're tasked with finding one. With collaboration of the line officers, we have chosen a relatively new member to us who has been with us for almost 2 years. He's been extremely active, not only on calls, but in training, taking on new leadership roles. Currently, he's the lead of the mentorship program, which was started several years ago. Last year, he was elected lieutenant to fill a vacancy for us, stepped up to that. This year, he has been elected for the captain of the department. He brings experience from his previous department as well in Barrie. This year's Firefighter of the Year is awarded to Brian Bentley. So left hand, and then look into the camera in front of you. Next is the Chiefs Award. This year I want to recognize a longtime member of the department. He's been instrumental as a forward-looking leader of our department, spending countless hours ensuring the department's policies were up to date, holding the department to high standards. He rose to the ranks, eventually holding the position of chief of the department, and then served as a board member, guiding financial decisions in the future of the department. This member has always been there for me as a current chief as well, answering questions, being available by phone, text, and such. He's been a sounding board for issues and also a shoulder for me. He not only selflessly serves the town of Batavia Fire Department, but currently as well as the role as GM1. Unfortunately, he's not here tonight, but I would like to recognize Tim Yeager with the Chiefs Award this year for everything that he has done. This year we have 4 length of service awards. The first 2 I'm going to call up together. It'll be Dwayne Fonda Jr. with 5 years and Tom Cunningham with 5 years. Yeah, exactly.
Try to be professional.
Yes, be professional, boys. Next with 25 years is Dave Morrow. I can't see that. Can you see that? That's the 25, correct?
Yep.
You gonna help me get dressed?
This gentleman is not here tonight. Robert Mullen, he has 60 years. The town of Batavia would like to recognize him for dedication to the department over the last 60 years, serving multiple roles for the department, as well as board member and his financial savviness. There is a proclamation from the state and an award.
You want that?
No. And then, I think my last thing that I have, I would like to call up Gary Diegelman, please. So last year, Gary was recognized for his 50 years. He got a proclamation from the state, and I neglected to have an award for him. And I'm glad that he's here tonight because I have an award for him for his 50 years service to the department. I would like to present that to him tonight. That is all that I have. I would like to thank you all for coming again, and look forward to talking to you afterwards.
Was it my turn now? It's your turn. Hi, everybody. Can everyone hear me well? I get to pick the President Award this year. It was kind of tricky. I'll follow what Chris said. A lot of people did a lot of great work, and there's a lot of recognition that needs to go around. But I got to narrow it down to one person. Little about this fellow. Solid person all the way around. As anyone knows, every fire department is struggling right now for recruiting. This person has stepped up. He has made it a huge initiative to not only help recruit, but to help get people to stay. With that said, if Mr. Fonda could come up front, please. And if we can make him as embarrassed as possible, that would be great. Thank you. He's all dressed up, too. This is for you, Mr. Fonda. So, as everyone knows, we have a mentorship program. It's been instrumental in keeping, you get people in, and it helps them find the path they would need to take. And he is the one who developed that all. He is one of the best people I've ever known. He's actually all right, but it's okay. The only flaw that Dwayne has is he's too good, and City Fire decided to pick him up, and we will never forgive them for that. But he has been instrumental in everything. He was our lieutenant until he went and got hired. He held a great ladder session training, which was great for everybody. He's been just instrumental in everything we've done, and I cannot thank you enough for everything. And you can go ahead and have a speech now. Yeah, go ahead. Thank you, everybody.
I'm not going to forgive City Fire either because he was interviewed and we were going to hire him as a dispatcher. And it is what it is, I guess. Congratulations, by the way. So before we close, I'd like to share just a little story with you. It has nothing to do with you. Well, maybe a little. The story you're about to hear is true. When I joined the fire department as a teenager, I used to enjoy talking to the older members. They had a lot of experience, and if they were willing to share their stories, I was ready to listen. One day, one of the older members came up to me and he said, "Do you have an encasive bag?" I had no idea what he was talking about. So I said, "What do you mean an encasive bag?" He says, "You put extra clothing in it, such as socks, sweatshirts, underwear, just in case. You put it in a waterproof bag and you have it in your car. You never know if you're going to be at a fire for a long time. You might get soaked or whatever." So life lesson number one, be prepared. A few years ago, my wife and I decided to visit her sister and her mother, who live near Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. The three women decided that they were going to go shopping, and like a good husband, I went with them. Like most men, I'm not a big fan of shopping, but I went along. Life lesson number two, happy wife, happy life. So we're shopping in Ollie's in York, Pennsylvania, and we're all in line waiting to check out. My mother-in-law finished first, and my wife asked me to help her mom load the stuff she bought into her minivan. So I get her mother-in-law out into the front seat, and I started to load the stuff that she bought into the back of the minivan. When I started hearing screeching tires, I looked up and I see 7 police cars, all with their lights flashing, heading in my direction. Now, my first thought was maybe somebody thought I was shoplifting, but it seemed a little extreme. All of a sudden, I'm looking at multiple police officers crouched behind their doors with their guns drawn, pointed at me. And they're yelling, "Show me your hands, show me your hands." I immediately raised my hands above my head. Now in each hand, I had a large plastic bag containing the items that my mother-in-law had purchased. Now we're not talking the little bags that you get for takeout orders. We're talking plastic bags that you could fit a suitcase in. And so now I'm standing there, and I guess I probably look like Ralph Macchio in the Karate Kid movie. I got 2 bags in my hands raised like that. At that point, the police officers rushed towards me, and they went right by me. So I turn around, and they're dragging a man from his car directly across the road from me. They handcuffed him, placed him into the back of one of their patrol cars. All the cops got into their cars, and they all left. Now, my wife and sister-in-law come out of the store, and there I am, still standing there like this with bags over my head. Life lesson number 3. When the police are pointing their guns at you and they say, "Show me your hands," it's best to comply, even if you didn't do anything wrong. At that point, I was very thankful for life lesson number 1. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate it. And if anybody needs a ride home, we'll find you a ride. But be safe. God bless.